All right, guys. So we're here with a pretty exciting little podcast / Q&A today. I'm with Adam Bry, CEO of Skydio. Is that correct?
Yeah, all except Bry. My name's pronounced Brie, like the cheese.
Oh, really? Yeah. I got false information. I got some questions from like the YouTube community, and was just going to see what you could answer, or basically run through some of these that I have no idea about, and see what the actual answer is, and get these people some more information. Well, let's go ahead and get started with the questions. So the first one we have here is: can future versions of the app be equipped with a way of flying a grid pattern defined by the pilot? This would be useful for mapping assignments.
Yeah, so this is actually something that's coming very soon. So we're partnering with Dronedeploy, which is the leader in the drone mapping space. So they have a mature app that you can use to specify the region that you want to map. The drone will fly the lawnmower pattern, and then they have cloud backend software to build that map. So we're working on the Dronedeploy integration now. Both teams are full steam ahead on that. It should be out early next year. And their app is free on the App Store to specify and fly those patterns. So if you want to do the cloud mapping stuff, that costs extra with them, but we wanted to work with them to enable the basic mapping functionality on Skydio too.
That's awesome. Another question we got here is it or will it become possible to change the beacon settings by means of the controller, for instance, from follow to orbit, for the purpose tracking a slow-flying object that contains the beacon?
Yeah, it's another really good question. So this is something that we're generally thinking about and working on for future software updates. So the ability to kind of customize more of the functionality of the beacon through the app is definitely something that's coming. I can't say for sure if that will be enabled through the controller or it'll be pre-programmed through the app, but this is definitely something that the team is working on and thinking about.
Cool. So being able to kind of change the button layout to your liking at a certain extent, or?
Yeah, or maybe access other kinds of flight modes that are available now in the app but aren't available on the beacon, being able to change modes and get a little bit more control. Like all that stuff is coming. And I like the suggestion here of being able to use the controller and the beacon at the same time, which I think there's some interesting, cool possibilities there.
Yeah.
So generally, I would say this is an area to stay tuned on.
Okay, cool. Another one is: when will Dronedeploy be available for Skydio 2? What isn't available on the software side at release that will be in the future? And 3, will we be able to record the point cloud that drones use for obstacle avoidance and mix that into videos?
So we talked a little bit about Dronedeploy, so that is coming early next year. So that's right around the corner. What isn't available at release that will be in the future? So I can't give away the whole software roadmap here. But one of the exciting things about Skydio 2 is that it really is a software-defined device. And we have a lot of software flexibility, both on the vehicle, in the app, on the beacon. We've designed the system with that in mind. So just like we did with R1, folks can definitely expect a couple of software updates next year that add some really interesting, cool new features. I can't say more than that, but there's definitely some cool stuff coming.
Yeah, the biggest one that I've seen people kind of asking about is like preset like motion lapses and stuff like that. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah. So we also do, we pay attention to requests that people have and what people are talking about on social media. So we're watching all that stuff to see what people are keen for, and that does inform how we think about the product and what we think about building.
That's cool. Yeah, it'll be exciting once these, like now they're shipping to consumers, so it'll be cool to see like the consumer feedback coming in too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been awesome seeing the first videos over the last week.
Yeah. Is that exciting for you?
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's cool. All right, another one. What about EU shipping, kind of international shipping, and optimizing production?
Yeah, so we're obviously behind on demand. We had plans, and the demand for the product has been really exciting. It's been above what we anticipated and planned for, which creates a bunch of challenges, and we realize is frustrating for potential customers. So it's a major priority for us. The team now is, we've gone from getting to the point where we can ship the product, and now a major focus for the team is being able to scale up production, which is really a big cross-team effort for us. And that's something that we're pushing hard on right now to move as quickly as we can. So that's an ongoing effort. There's no magic switch to be flipped. It's a big deal to be able to build a lot of these things reliably. And the real key for us is we need to be able to maintain that quality bar.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that every unit is awesome, it functions the way that it's supposed to. And no matter what we do, we're not going to sacrifice that, which means that we maybe can't go as fast as people would like. but we think that quality is super, super important. So we are going as hard as we can. With respect to EU and international, this is another long-term priority for us. So we don't have a definitive timeline there. The issue in the short term is that the product isn't certified outside of North America, but it is something that we designed for. So it can be certified in these other countries. There's just more work to do that.
Just on the back end.
On the back end and the regulatory front, like each country kind of has their own processes for different radio certifications, different temperature certifications on the product, things like that. So we designed with all this in mind. We just haven't gone through the certification process yet in other countries, but it's something that we're working on.
Cool.
So I realize this is frustrating for folks internationally that want to get Skydio 2.
Yeah, I get a lot of people that are excited about it just worldwide. But
yeah, and that's that does give us the kind of confidence to know that there's real demand there to motivate us to do the work. So hopefully this is something that's coming in 2020, but we don't have a definitive timeline that we're announcing yet.
Cool. And how important was it to you guys to do like American made, and how hard is it to fulfill that goal?
Yeah, so honestly, the reason why we started building the product ourselves in the US is because we just thought it was the best thing overall to get to the highest quality product as quickly as possible. Drones are really full-fledged, complex aerospace devices dressed up as a piece of consumer electronics, but thermals and aerodynamics, and you've got all these moving parts. There's a lot of different complex ingredients that have to come together to make the product work the way that it does. And I think it's not an accident that most aerospace companies build the products themselves, because all that engineering complexity transfers over into manufacturing complexity, and it's largely the same story with drones. So by building the product ourselves here at our headquarters, we can have the engineers that design the product deeply involved in the manufacturing process. We can ensure quality throughout. So that was really the major motivation initially for doing it. I do think that it's, we're proud of the fact that we're building in the U.S., and a lot of folks over the last couple of years have kind of spun this narrative that it was impossible for a U.S. drone company to compete. And I think it's a really exciting thing for us. We kind of like the underdog story that not only are we building superior technology, there's nothing else in the world that has the autonomy capabilities of Skydio 2, but we're actually manufacturing it right here in the U.S. And I think that's an exciting thing to get to be a part of. That's motivating for everybody here, everybody over at 47 that's building these things.
I see a lot of people in the comments like just completely sold on the fact that you guys are doing it in the USA, and they're like, I'm buying it just for that reason. I don't even need another drone. I just want to support a US company. So
yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah, it's really cool. And plus it kind of helps speed up that feedback loop between engineering and manufacturing, right? Just having it right down the street.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it means that if there's any issue that comes up, it's a 2-minute walk for somebody here to go over and understand what's going on and make sure that we address it and get it right.
That's really cool. All right, so another question. There's, I guess, some stuff here about production again. We kind of got into that. Just one that we talked about before. Are ND filters planned for the Skydio 2?
Yeah, so ND filters are available on the store now.
Cool.
So this is one where we knew ND filters were a useful accessory for drones, and we had a lot of interest in this, which motivated us to have this ready, basically for first customer ship.
Cool.
So folks who have their reservations now, when they go through to complete their purchase, this will be one of the optional accessories in the store. So we've partnered with Polar Pro. We have a set. It's actually a really cool magnetic system where it just magnetically attaches to the lens, so it's super easy to get on and off. It's a nice experience, and it's useful for people that want to fine tune the capture.
Do you know what ND steps are available?
Yeah, so the set comes with 4, 8, and 16.
Okay, awesome. Are you guys planning on opening up the drones SDK for third-party developers?
So unfortunately, this is another area where we're really excited about it. We kind of have more demand than we can handle. So with R1, we did this private beta SDK, and we learned a lot there. We had some people build some really interesting, exciting stuff. And that has turned into a couple of more focused efforts where it's not open to the public yet. We have a few companies and individuals that we're working with on kind of a closer relationship basis to build some really cool applications on Skydio 2. So this is an area that you'll definitely see more and hear more from us in 2020. And our long-term goal is to have a full-fledged public SDK that makes it really easy for anyone who has, who can imagine a cool application for an autonomous drone to build that on top of Skydio 2. But it's more work for us to support that. So
and you guys are focusing on just getting stuff done and shipped right now.
Yeah, exactly. So right now our big goal is shipping Skydio 2s. We've got our hands full there, and then we have a couple of closer partnerships that are based on the SDK. And in pursuing those partnerships, we're hardening the SDK, we're adding functionality, we're making everything work better, such that when we do release it to the public, we'll have something that's really polished and high quality.
Cool.
But it's just going to take a little bit longer.
Yeah, I figured there's a lot of stuff on here that you guys are planning on getting to, but like right now it says build as many drones as possible.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool. And then another one that's really good, I get this a lot, is what is up with the night flying? I feel like I haven't seen any nighttime flights. Do the cameras not work at all, or is it not okay to fly at night?
So this is an intentional design choice. So the major use case for the product is capturing video, and you generally can't capture very good video at night when there's no light. And because our visual navigation system relies on light, it also doesn't work very well at night. Mm-hmm. So we built into the product a low light threshold below which we don't think you're going to be able to get good video quality, and below which the navigation system doesn't work very well. And that's essentially a threshold that prevents people from flying in too low light.
I've seen that on my app, like just trying to do something at night last minute, and it just says too dark to fly.
Yeah. So that's the reality of just visual light capture and visual navigation. So being able to fly at night is definitely a long-term area of interest for us.
Yeah.
And there's other technologies that can be brought bear to make that possible. But on Skydio 2, for now, it's designed to be a kind of daylight operating vehicle.
One question I have on that is, if you're flying at sunset trying to capture some cool sunset shots, and then it were to get really dark, would the drone automatically land, or does it kind of have like a bypass mode for a minute there?
Yeah, that's a good question. So everywhere in the system, we've tried to design with what we think of as graceful failure. So as the sensors encounter challenges, they tend to ratchet down functionality in a smooth way and notify the user what's happening. So with low light, once you start it, like if you take off and it's bright enough, and then either the sun sets or you enter a dark cave or something, the app will warn you. It'll say like too dark to fly. It'll first be a warning, and then if it really gets, but it'll keep functioning. Mm-hmm. And then if it really gets too dark, such that it can't see anything, it'll just stop and either ask you to land or auto land itself.
Okay, cool. All right, another one that we got on here, and I wasn't even really aware of this up until yesterday, but there's supposedly a Pro Kit that will unlock some features for like enterprise capabilities. Could you maybe touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, so one of the cool things about Skydio 2 is that the hardware itself and the core autonomy capabilities are very general. So we have a lot of enterprise customers that are using Skydio 2 for inspection, mapping, type applications. And we're doing a couple of things in that market. One, we're selling the enterprise or Pro Kit, which basically bundles together everything that all those folks want. So it's a bunch of spare batteries, charger, controller, beacon. That's a separate product. Okay. That's coming. The Pro Kit is just a bunch of Skydio 2 accessories, and then a premium tier of customer support. So our standard consumer customer support, we think, is best in class. But a lot of these enterprise folks just want to be able to be guaranteed that they're never going to have any downtime due to any issue with the vehicle. So we provide a premium tier of support to make sure that that's the case. So it's not really intended for consumers, although we do have some enthusiasts that buy it. It's mainly intended for
like construction management, search and rescue, things like that,
exactly,
surveying.
Those kinds of folks. And the way we think about this as a company is everybody kind of benefits from, all our customers benefit from the existence of the other customers. Like the fact that we can sell essentially the same product into all these different markets is part of what helps us justify the massive investments that we make in the core technology. It's a huge, huge investment to build the drone and the autonomy system. And the fact that we can then sell the product into different markets is good for everybody. Like if we couldn't sell it into those different markets, we probably couldn't make the same levels of investment.
Yeah.
And then we just specialize the software a little bit depending on the application that somebody is doing with it, and also provide the appropriate sort of support and accessories for that.
Okay, cool. No, that's really good. Like I said, I wasn't aware of that, and I know you guys have kind of an enterprise-focused part of the company as well, and it's pretty neat being able to do like construction management and stuff like that. It'll help a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, the way that this is kind of like getting into the strategy of the company, but we think drones are similar to like phones and tablets and laptops, where the like consumer device that's really sleek and easy to use and super powerful with a lot of software flexibility ends up being a useful thing for a lot of enterprise applications. And I think the whole drone industry is kind of in its early days, but we see a lot of exciting stuff happening across the spectrum there.
Cool. And then let's see. Oh, this is another one. Just wanted to kind of clear up. Someone asked, can you guys add a feature on the beacon that will be an audible or beep, kind of letting you know you have low battery? And that's something that's already out there, right?
Yeah, so this was a late addition before shipping. I mean, it was always in the plan, but it's a low-risk feature, which that stuff tends to get pushed towards the end of development because we try to bite off the high-risk stuff early. So in the software that's shipping now, this is implemented. So it may not have been there in some of your earlier tests, but with the software that's shipping now, we have beep notifications on the beacon for low battery and other kinds of kind of off nominal states to let the user know.
Okay, cool. And then let's do one last question here for you guys. What about, someone asked about using the Skydio 2 for like kite surfing action with high wind. How do you think it would handle in winds? And the top speed is, 36 miles an hour, right around there. Is that including like wind speed too? Like if you had a 20 mile an hour headwind, would it only go 16 or?
Yeah, it's a good question. So Skydio 2 is always estimating the wind speed around it, and then it's taking that wind speed into account in its own motion plan. So it's not quite that simple, but if you are going into a stiff headwind, it is going to have a lower top speed.
Okay.
Having said that, we already have customers that are using it for kite surfing. We've seen some of the videos. So I think it's important that people understand that it is a higher risk use case for the drone.
Yeah, totally.
Like if you're flying in a super high wind situation out
over water,
there's a set of things that can go wrong, like if it loses Wi-Fi connection for some reason or low battery.
Yeah. And you forget to set like the home point.
And you don't set the home point. Yeah. So we designed so you can use the app to set a home point, a rally point that it'll go back to. So if you're careful and you do that right, everything is fine. But it is just a higher stake situation. But having said that, like we've seen people create some amazing kite surfing videos.
Cool.
And water sports in general were a major focus for Skydio 2. So we've used it quite a bit, like for wakeboarding, water skiing, stuff like that, and surfing.
Is the beacon waterproof by any chance, or is that?
So it's not waterproof. It's water resistant, and it's pretty easy to just put it in a plastic bag or something like that if you want to use it.
Yeah, like a waterproof phone bag or
exactly.
Case. Cool.
Yeah, that's what we recommend.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you taking some time for this. I know you guys are super busy trying to build and ship drones, so I really appreciate you doing this with us and answering some questions for the YouTube community.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming in, and excited to have people have their questions answered. We really like interacting with our customers in whatever form they show up. Like when people contact us, customer support, people comment on videos online. Like we pay attention to all that stuff. It affects how we think about future product. It affects how we think about marketing. So I'm excited to have the opportunity to answer a few folks' questions. Yeah, I'm sure people will be really excited. I think we got through a lot of the questions, and I really appreciate Adam doing this with us. So thank you guys for watching, and cheers. Congrats on everything, and I'm stoked to see what you guys do when more consumers get their hands on it. Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. Yeah.